Hello, everybody. Welcome to another interview. We're sitting here with Tara Schaefer, producer of the Academy Award nominated short film, Lien. Please check it out. I was fortunate enough to look at it and watch it, and absolutely riveting. Loved it from start to finish. Very important film as well. So here's Tara. How you doing today?
Well, so thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
I saw that this movie was made in 2023. And then just the way it worked out now that it's released and it's coinciding with current times, I mean, that kind of seems like a filmmaking miracle in itself. That's amazing.
Actually, the film really started to come together in 2018. So it really kind of gives you an idea of
Wow.
films, how long films take, and from like writing, from like putting words on the page to, in this case, an awards campaign. So it's very, it's been I've produced a lot of short films, and it is always interesting to see the different paths they take. This is a first for me with an Oscars campaign for this one.
How do you go from day one of pre-production where you're planning these things, you've seen the script, and now you're an Oscar nominated short film?
So Sam and David, the directors of Lien, are close collaborators of mine. I'm always attracted to scripts and to filmmakers who are dedicated to story, and I think that's pretty evident in Lien. It's a timely story, but it's also a very human story, and I think that is kind of one of the I would predict and feel confident that that's what has contributed to its success, is that it really puts a human face on immigration, mixed with the tension that Sam and David are so talented in building with our editor, Caitlin Carr, and our
Mhm.
sound designer, Eli Cohn, and our colorist, and everybody who kind of was so pivotal into making this film. When you kind of combine those two, it really creates a film that's very powerful.
Let's talk about your Arkansas connection. It's kind
Sure.
of one of the reasons which brings us together today. Your Arkansas connection. How important is it to you that your foundation started here in the natural state? And what does it just mean to you in general?
Yeah, I'm very proud of being from Arkansas. I love being an Arkansan. It's where I grew up in Little Rock. I went to high school in Hot Springs. It's important for me to have roots here. In my own work, I really always think about stories in Arkansas. I think about the interesting, complicated women that I grew up around and with. And I think that that's something that also makes me a really good producer, is because I have a very specific point of view that makes me able to accept other point of views. It's when you're confident in where you're from and what you have to say and want to say and how you see the world, it gives you a broader and easier understanding of accepting the way that the other people see the world. And I think that the way that I'm able to kind of morph and be a chameleon in that way is because I have a very strong sense of self, and that is really rooted in Arkansas.
Being a filmmaker is being an artist, and you started in Arkansas. Some of your first short films were here in Arkansas, and it was recognized by some of the Arkansas film festivals. How did you cultivate that voice that you're talking about right now?
My biggest recommendation to folks out there is to learn how to tell stories the way that makes sense to you. And also, as when you're starting out, write what write stories about the people that are in your life that you see at school or at church or whatever, because ultimately the way that you perceive the world is unique. And when you start leaning into that and being confident in the fact that you have something to say that's different than your neighbor or someone who lives in Mississippi or Michigan, you can really distill that into
Yeah.
how you see the world.
What's next for you? And I'm not just talking about films or not talking about your next project or anything, but what do you hope the person who watches your next work, whether it's writing or directing or whether it's producing, what do you hope for those viewers to gain from the films that you participated in?
One of the things that I, as a filmmaker, producer, whatever, really hope is that within each specific story, the audience walks away with the director's intention. That they really see, maybe they see the world a little bit differently. Their opinion might be questioned. Maybe they stay firm in their beliefs, but maybe it's a moment of why do I believe this? You know, I think that Lien is a really interesting film because everyone is making the best decision and choices with what they're given. So like, I think
Right.
no matter what part of the political spectrum that you're on, you can really watch Lien and empathize with everyone who's doing the best that they can.
Last question here. We can't let you go without asking some of your favorite films.
Oh,
That's a
is
tough
this
one. I know it's a curveball.
this is like Letterboxd, the Letterboxd board films.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just give you my Letterboxd ones. So actually, one of my favorite movies is Shotgun Stories, which is based in
Okay, yeah.
Arkansas. Yeah.
Mhm,
Jean Dillman by Chantal Ackerman.
mhm.
Sancho the Bailiff by Mizoguchi.
Nice. Yes.
Japanese film. And then here's another curveball: Steel Magnolias. You know, it is about women in the South with distinct personalities and really mimic and shows the type of women that I grew up around.
Well, Tara, it's been lovely sitting with you and having this conversation with you. And for our viewers, tune in Sunday, March 2nd for the 97th Academy Awards to cheer on Lien and their cast and crew for Best Live Action Short Film. Thank you again. We appreciate the time.
Thank you.